Birds. Birds are some of the most majestic creatures in the animal kingdom. As a matter of fact, birds inhabit every continent on the planet. They come in a variety of species, from the chicken to the eagle, the penguin, and the ostrich. But with all of this, have you ever wondered what would planet Earth be like if birds didn't exist? That's what I want to analyze in this episode. A world without birds. Stay tuned. I'm Chris, and this is Factsma in Space. Imagine this for a second. You wake up tomorrow morning in a world without birds. The first thing you'd probably notice would be the silence. Birds have become such a regular part of our mornings that most of us don't even hear the birds chirp. They simply fade into the background. But without birds, the absence of vibrant singing would be noticeable. A few years ago, a recent study showed that birds eat 400 to 500 million tons of insects a year. In other words, birds provide a steady dose of biological control. Without birds, farming would be next to impossible. By having more insects roaming the land as a result of no birds, crops would be ravaged by the amount of pests. Even with birds, it's estimated that insects consume up to 10% of industrialized nations' crops and up to 25% of a developing nation's gross national product. Without the widespread hunting of insect-eating birds, these numbers would expand exponentially, ultimately driving food prices through the roof. Nations all over the planet may try to battle the insect problem with insecticide, but that amount of poison on our food would be disastrous. It might be a morbid thought, but we also have to remember about the animals that survive from eating birds, including humans. Most animals that eat birds, like weasels, spiders, wildcats, snakes, and us humans, will have to adapt and may struggle to survive. Another, and perhaps the biggest change to the planet in a world without birds, is the environment. When we think pollinators, bees and butterflies come to mind. But bird pollinators, such as hummingbirds and honey eaters, also make a big contribution, especially in high altitudes or hot climates. This interesting and complex co-evolutionary association is known as ornithophy. A world without birds means fewer plants, and that means less oxygen, meaning the quality of life on planet Earth would shrink dramatically. So, what have we learned here? Birds make our gardens interesting. They bring with them a small piece of wilderness into our parks, and they ultimately bring us closer to nature. As well as the direct impact on our ecosystem, much art and poetry has been inspired by these wonderful creatures. A world without them would be a dark world indeed. What do you think?